I'm Doug Massey, and today we're going to talk about the art of overcoming objections, and I'm going to lay out basically a step-by-step method that works really, really well. And we're not just going to talk about like the true objection, but we're also going to get into those knee-jerk habitual reactions that a lot of folks have towards salesmen in general. And really, basically, the big difference between the two is, one is the honest to goodness objection. The other is just that what they're used to. Like, they're thinking, hey, I got to get rid of this agent, this person, this salesperson. What do I do? And then they just give you an excuse. So before we get into it, please give this video a thumbs up. And we do recommend that you subscribe. We're putting out new content every single week, all insurance-based content and or final expense sales training. And if you'd like a copy of the Overcoming Objections super file, just stick around to the end of the video and I'm going to show you how to get this bad boy for yourself. And let me tell you, it has a lot of material on overcoming objections, scripts, etc. So the first thing I want to get into is perception. And the reason I say that is because a lot of people see an objection as like a negative. I mean, it kind of is, right? They're literally rejecting you. That's what the objection is. However, if you can perceive it as an opportunity, now everything's going to be a little bit different. And I say that because even the most interested prospects, people that know they absolutely need it and they know they're absolutely going to buy it, may actually give you an objection. And this is normal. We expect this. So to me, my perspective is that if you can view objections as an opportunity and use the objection as an opportunity to build value in the product. So now you're going to get into the product you're selling. You're going to talk about that. You're going to build rapport. You're going to talk about that. And then a couple of minutes later, you're going to come back and close them again or go for a reclose. So let's talk about preparation. How important is it to be absolutely prepared for objections? Well, you know what I'm going to tell you. It's extremely important. One of the things that I recommend to all of our agents is to put together multiple cheat sheets, a cheat sheet for every single carrier that you're selling and every product that you have. And the idea is now when the prospect gives you, the real objection, now we're talking about a real objection here, I got to think about it because it's normal for us to think about things, right? It is. Or I do have to talk to my kids before I do any financial decision. You're actually prepared with something to talk about. Well, you got to talk to your kids. I understand that completely, Mrs. Jones. Well, here, why don't you make sure you talk to your kids about this? And then you get into the product. You talk about everything from their rating to the benefits of the insurance to when the coverage begins and how it actually works, all the way to like anything you can think of about the product. Meanwhile, you get into an opportunity to build more rapport. And that's the way I see it. When you combine the product, the presentation, that's the way I see it. You're going back into the presentation to talk about the product and you add that information into what you're doing to build rapport. And you bring up the fact that you've already spoken with them that, like you said, Janet, the last thing you want is for your daughter to be stuck paying for your funeral. And then you go back and say, by the way, keep in mind, you're not going to have to pay for anything today. We're not going to worry about the money until later. When you do it right that way, effectively, it actually, instead of building the rapport up front, which is what we used to do out of my call center, one of the things that we did was we would not give a quote to the clients until we were speaking with them for at least 30 minutes. So now with this type of presentation, we're not doing that anymore. We're simply getting their health information, building a little bit of rapport, giving them the quotes, and then expecting them to give us objections, multiple objections, so that we can go loop back into the presentation and build all that value, all that rapport, remind them of the why and of the money also that we're not going to have to collect today, and go in for the kill. That's why you have to have multiple cheat sheets. You have to have many things to speak about with each carrier, each product. If you can simply look at it like, oh, this is a fun time. Oh, I'll never forget, I was in a call center years ago investigating different centers, potentially to work with one. And there was an agent. I remember what she would do is she would like to show off a little bit. As soon as the client, the prospect, gave her an objection, she would mute the mic off and turn to me and go, now it's playtime. And that's exactly the way she looked at it. She had fun with it. She played with them. She got them laughing. And the next thing you know, they're going, okay, let's start with option number 2. You got to be excited about what we do. You have to have excitement, energy, and enthusiasm throughout your entire presentation. Just by doing that alone, it's going to minimize the objections. And when they do give you the objection and you have that same enthusiasm when you go to overcome the objections, it's just going to make it that much easier for them to actually like and trust you. One of the other things I think is important, it kind of goes hand in hand, because a lot of this, it's usually when it comes down to it, guys, a lot of times it's about money, and this is like a true objection, and or trust. They just don't trust you enough. Guys, just to be clear, what you don't want to do is give the client, like if you're giving them 3 options, a bottom price of like $35. You always have to give yourself a place to drop to. My bottom option's around $85 a month. That way, if I think they can't afford it, because like I said, it's always about cost or trust. If I think they can't afford it, we're addressing that and we're going to do a price drop. Now, when it comes to trust, this is key. One of the things I truly believe in is having an image ready to text or email to your client, even depending on the situation. With our system, developing our leads off of advertising that we're doing. Meanwhile, the people are actually on their smartphones, and that's where they're seeing the ads. So most of these people can text, right? So I want to be ready to text them an image of my driver's license and my insurance license to let them know that I'm real. I'm really here in the United States. I'm not living in some offshore call center trying to sell them something that maybe doesn't even exist. Now, a couple of the carriers, Savings Bank Life Insurance, which is our main carrier, and Guaranteed Trust Life actually use a concierge plan to sell insurance, which to me is gold. And this is another key thing. When a client purchases SBLI and or GTL, Guaranteed Trust Life, they will have access to the Sequoia concierge plan. And what this basically is it's kind of like what Lincoln Heritage does and Senior Life does. Lincoln Heritage has that Funeral Advantage plan, for example. But the difference is this thing is national. It's global. And check this out. The client doesn't just have it for themselves. They actually have it for 10 people. So what happens is you, the agent, you sell them the SBLI or the GTL, and then you call in, once it's approved, you call into the concierge program, the Sequoia concierge plan, and you let them know, hey, I've got a client. Here's their name. Here's their phone number. Here's their policy number. Please give them a call, and they take care of everything for you. When you look at it from the perspective of not only are we selling them insurance at a really good price and getting them insured, but we're actually helping the family take care of the funeral before the client even dies. That's a pretty huge selling point. If you'd like a copy of the Overcoming Objections super file that I mentioned earlier in the video, just email me at doug@ufesonline.com. If you'd like more information on our remote final expense telesales platform, now this is the one that you hear me talking about where we can actually guarantee 20 to over 30 appointments per day of people that are expecting a quote, a call from you. Just shoot me an email at that same address. As always, guys, when you put the needs of your clients first, everything else will usually fall right into place. Now, get out there or get on that headset. Whatever you do, make sure to do something good for someone today. Happy hunting.